This is not the typical Amazing Atheist video. It's made on a webcam, that's very strange. But probably stranger by far is the fact that I am responding to a response. We don't usually have conversational threads on this channel, and it's not because I can't respond to criticism. I know that's what some people would want you to believe. Get out of here, moth. Die! Okay, I had to take a life. Or, maybe, I don't know if I got it or not, but I had to attempt to take a life. That's the problem with these live things. I'm going to try to do this all in one shot, by the way, because Paul did. Paul got it all done in one fucking shot, and he did it with such colorful facial expressions, too. As he listened to me, he wore that look of like, I mock what you say with my facial expressions, huh? So I'm going to try to do this all in one fucking shot. I could cheat, though, because, I mean, I'm going to have some clips playing later, and I could easily, like, cut between the fucking clips. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to do this all in as much real time as possible. One fucking take, pure passion. Let's fucking do it, you know? If you're going to do a webcam video, at least try to make it half-ass authentic. Fuck the jump cuts. Fuck trying to see? That's what I'm talking about. I stumbled. I stuttered. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't have the talent to do this anymore. I've become reliant on the jump cuts. This is primal. This is like the caveman days of YouTube again. What was I fucking talking about? Anyway. See, this is why you can't give me a fucking webcam in infinite time. I need a director like Cody to shock my ass onto the righteous path of fucking staying on point, because otherwise I digress in a million fucking directions. Oh, the reason I don't make videos like this is because, you know, there comes a point in any internet argument, I mean, because you know, when you first start something like this, like, okay, Paul, when I made that video to you, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking puff my chest out at Paul. See what he does. And then you puffed your chest back out at me like, yeah, well, fuck TJ. I ain't taking no shit off him. Which makes you look better just by default, because, you know, most people, when I make a ponage video against them, they're like, yeah. But you didn't back away, and I didn't expect you to, and so you seem like the rugged underdog. So, I mean, like, instantly, tons of people on your fucking side. Because I just look like the bully who's picking on you when I should be going after those fundies, as I've got 1,000 messages letting me know, like, why are you going after Paul when you should be going after them fundies? I don't know, maybe because Paul can actually be reached? Maybe because Paul is actually a rational human being that I can have a discussion with. Of course, you know, discussions like this probably don't belong on YouTube, but I'm the one that put it on YouTube in the first place. But, you know, anyway, there comes a point in a fucking discussion like this where it's no longer about the audience, because the audience has long since lost interest. And I think the only way the audience would be interested in this video is if I was going to make a ponage video, because everyone who's writing to me is either letting me know, yo, fucking Paul kicked your ass, time to admit defeat, faggot. Or they're writing me like, what you gonna do against Paul? You need to make a video against him. Destroy him. And I have no interest in doing that. I don't want to destroy Paul. He's my favorite fucking YouTube channel. He's one of the few fucking people on this site that I could stand to watch. I love Paul's videos. I have no fucking interest in poning Paul off the fucking internet. And I'm not saying, like, I'm capable of poning him off the internet, but thanks to my generous spirit, I'm not going to. I'm not saying that at all. I'm simply saying that I don't even want to try. Okay, so let's take a look at this issue. Even though I barely care. I barely fucking care, Paul. I barely give a shit, because I don't even think the original point I was trying to make even got through to you at all. I don't even know why I made a video instead of just fucking sending you a goddamn private message. Maybe if I didn't do all the puffing out of my chest, this could have been a real discussion instead of a pissing match. But that's what it ended up. And it's probably my fault. It's definitely my fault. But I'll blame you anyway. It's your fault, Paul. Why did you do that? Okay, so there's two Paul's egos. One here.
I'm not half the cynic I try and make myself appear. Okay, I care about people. I care. I give a fuck. And I just wish that people cared as much about themselves.
One ear.
I really don't care. I don't care who killed Casey Anthony's little daughter. I don't care if it was her. I don't care if it was somebody that never gets brought to justice. I don't care if she did it in cold blood and then partied all night and then gets off scot-free and rides her celebrity for the next 40 or 50 years. I don't give two shits and a fuck. There's not room in me to care about something worthless.
And they don't get along.
I care about people. I really don't care. I care. I give a fuck. I don't give two shits and a fuck.
Now, is that fair? Is it fair for me to juxtapose those two clips? No. Definitely not. It's not fair at all. It's totally, it's a bogus fucking tactic. It's bullshit. Why would I even do that? I have kind of a point in doing it, though. My point is this. Okay, so in one clip, Paul is talking about humanity, society, culture. And he's saying that he cares. And I admire that. I do. I admire it. I'm glad that Paul is willing to put up with this society like a fucking mother of an ingrate fucking kid who fucking walks through the fucking house with his shoes muddy and she's like, hey, clean that up. And he's like, fuck you, Mom. And she's like, I still love that boy. That's Paul. That's Paul with America. That's Paul with humanity. And I'm glad. But I'm the mom that says, well, then get the fuck out of my house. That's what I've done. I know my son is out there sleeping under a bridge, and I feel kind of bad, but on the other hand, he's an asshole. And that's how I feel about the American public. But Paul likes him. He doesn't like him, but he cares about him. He has some sort of vested interest, and that's fine. And then the other clip, he's talking about this specific case, and he's saying he doesn't care about the specific case. The specific one person, this Casey Anthony, who may or may not have killed Kaylee Anthony and may or may not be evil incarnate walking upon the face of the fucking earth. Who cares? Who knows? Fuck Cody. Okay, but Paul acts like, oh, he took, you amazing atheist, you quote mined me, took me out of context. He says, oh, that shit I said about Kaylee Anthony, that was just like, I was emotional, and, I do my videos off the cuff, so sometimes my phrasing isn't the best. Well, Paul, I mean, honestly, is it really puzzling to you that people were confused by this wording? I mean, let me read this. I mean, I know we've already heard you say it, but let me just read it in a dispassionate tone of voice. I really don't care. I don't care who killed Casey Anthony's little daughter. I don't care if it was her. I don't care if somebody damn it. I don't care if it was somebody that never gets brought to justice. I don't care if she did it in cold blood and then partied all night and then gets off scot-free and rides her celebrity for the next 40 or 50 years. I don't give two shits and a fuck. There's not enough room in me to care about something worthless. That's not like, oops, off the... That's like a slip of the tongue, like, oops, off the fucking cuff, I said that. I don't believe for a second that you care about Kaylee Anthony. I think you were telling the truth when you said you don't give a shit. But there is a problem with that, Paul, and I don't think you're manning up to the problem with that. I think you see the problem and you're just trying to ignore it. You're trying to act like, oh, that's not what I meant. Well, it's what you fucking said. It's what you said, and you didn't stop yourself, and you took quite a bit of time in saying it. And you didn't correct yourself later on. Well, maybe I don't mean it quite that strongly. You said you don't care about Kaylee Anthony's killer. You don't care if they're brought to justice. And if you care about someone, you kind of give a shit if when they're murdered at the age of, I don't know, what, 2, 3, 4? I don't even know how old the fucking girl was. But if you're murdered as a small child, I think you'd care if their killer was brought to justice if you cared about them as a human being. I think it would at least be of some slight concern to you. But it's not. And here's the problem with that. Here's my problem with that. And maybe you can explain it to me. My problem is, if you don't care about the one, how can you care about the many? You know, it's like Abraham arguing with God about Sodom and Gomorrah. He said to God, if there's 50 righteous men, will you spare Sodom and Gomorrah? And God said, sure. What if there's 25? Okay. What if there's 10? That's me at this point. I feel like I'm Abraham, and I'm trying to argue for the few and not just the many. You have this girl. She was murdered, probably, and you don't care. And the reason you don't care is because everyone else cares. And you feel like they should be caring about bigger and better things. But you know, it's not Kaylee Anthony's fault that her death was turned into a fucking media circus. You know, at the end of the day, she still was, you know, a fucking young child who died an unnecessary fucking death, and it is horrible. Now, should the entire nation have been bogged down in worrying and wringing their hands about that tragedy? No, absolutely fucking not. But there was no reason for you to say that you didn't care about whether or not her killers were brought to justice. You could have easily have just said you don't care about the fucking media circus. If that's all you meant, that's all you should have fucking said, Paul. And don't act like I'm some kind of fucking lunatic for misconstruing something that was like this bold declaration of, I don't care about this. Don't care about that little girl's killer. Don't give a shit. This is going to sound so gay. I just want you to be happy, Paul. I want you to be happy, and I think that you'd be happier if you... Not if you didn't care. Not if you said, fuck the world. I'm not even telling you to do that. I'm just saying, try to accept the fact that you... personally, as an individual, as one person in the world, cannot make a difference. You know, we'll point to people like, oh, there was Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King had a lot of people behind him. He was part of a movement. There is no great social movement in this day and age. There's a bunch of people on the internet bitching about problems, and you and I, we fit into that category, Paul. You know that. You've spoken about the ineptitude of people today. And you know you're part of the problem, and I know I'm part of the problem. I don't exempt myself from this criticism of humankind. But you have to accept your measure of helplessness. Otherwise, you have to go out there and start a social movement. You really have to go take to the streets and start working to fucking fix these problems in like an activist sort of way. And even that is totally futile because, you know, people have learned how to ignore that shit. The media does not cover it anymore. The people do not care about it anymore. South Park has kind of anesthetized them to it. They see a mob and all they think is rabble, 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 rabble. You know, if there's going to be social unrest in the society, if there's going to be a movement, it's not starting now. And if it does, you know, you can be part of it. Maybe I'll choose to be part of it. I don't know. But it ain't happening yet. And it's not your fault that it's not happening. You shouldn't blame yourself for it. And I feel like you do, Paul. I feel like when you make these videos, I feel like there's an element of you punishing yourself. I don't know, Paul. Maybe we should just talk one-on-one about this sometime. Maybe we should get on Skype and try to figure this out mano a mano. And we could actually bounce off each other instead of me just sitting here trying to explain an idea to you and you trying to figure out what the fuck I'm talking about while an audience of people, gather around us and chant, fight, 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 fight. Because this is not the most productive environment for this discussion. They want it to be a ponage contest. They want it to be Paul versus TJ. Who will win? It's not about that. I don't want to win. I don't want you to win. I want us to walk away with a better understanding of each other. And I want you to not feel so shitty. I want me to feel like I helped you out. That's all. And hey, at the end of the day, if nothing else, at least I've brought more views to your channel. And it seems like a lot of the people I sent to you agree with you. So hey, maybe your movement's starting already. Probably not, but maybe.